Chapter 989. Was telling the truth. Di Biming's heart skipped a beat. Little Gio, don't worry. The next time I visit, I can accompany you out for a stroll. Is there really such a treasure that can help you disguise yourself? Others won't be able to find out? Yun Chujio said excitedly. A cultivator's spiritual sense was very powerful. A simple disguise could fool people who were not familiar with them. If they were familiar with someone, they would still be able to recognize them. Di Biming nodded. I'll think of a way. I should be able to get it. Wait for my good news. Prince Charming, if you can get one, you might as well get two. I want one too. Yun Chujio said slyly. Okay, I'll try my best. When Di Biming saw Yun Chujio trying to please him, the desire in his body stirred again. It was really sweet torture. After the two of them had breakfast, they were bored for a while. Di Biming said, you should prepare for the second round of the test. I'll go home first. I'll come back to see you in a few days. Okay. Prince Charming, you must keep yourself clean. If I find out that you've done something wrong, I won't forgive you. Yun Chujio said fiercely. Di Biming curled his lips. Don't worry, I don't want anyone else but you. Yun Chujio felt that her little heart was not listening to her again. Damn it. The Prince Charming had become an upgraded version of her. He had seduced her so much that she did not want him anymore. Little Gio, no matter who provokes you, you can go ahead and teach them a lesson. If you can't handle it, tell me and I'll help you do it. Okay, but I'll try my best to take care of them myself. I'll use them as practice. If I can't handle them, I'll tell you. The feeling of being protected and cherished by others was too damn good, wasn't it? Keep these concealment talismans. Concealment talismans have limited use in the Azure Mystic continent, but their full power can be used in the Tian Yuan continent. Once activated, as long as you don't cause any spiritual fluctuations, people below the third layer of the spiritual venerable realm won't be able to find you. Di Biming handed Yun Chujio 5 concealment talismans. Yun Chujio took them and kept them in her storage ring. She said with a smile, Prince Charming, doesn't your mother want a beautifying pill? Give this universal essence cleansing pill to her. Even if it can't increase the level of her spirit root, it should have a beautifying effect. Yun Chujio took out a universal essence cleansing pill and handed it to Di Biming. No matter what, the palace mistress was still Prince Charming's mother, so it was necessary to build a good relationship with her. Besides, no matter what her original intention was, the title of the palace mistress old friend was still helpful to her. Di Biming took the porcelain bottle and put it away. I will hand it to my mother. Little Gio, my mother will change her attitude towards you sooner or later. You don't have to worry too much. Yun Chujio thought to herself, she was worried? What a joke. The one who should be worried should be that old witch. However, she would not be stupid enough to tell the truth. Instead, she pretended to be strong and nodded. Prince Charming, sincerity is everything. Your mother will be touched by my actions sooner or later. Seeing that Yun Chujio was so sensible, Di Biming's heart softened even more. He felt that she was smart, beautiful, strong, and sensible. In short, no matter how he looked at her, she was perfect. He could not wait to be together with her all the time. Yun Chujio saw that Di Biming was obsessed with her beauty. She was very proud in her heart. Her words were not for nothing. Indeed, if she wanted to get a man, she had to be good to his family. Her words were not deceptive. Chapter 989. Was telling the truth. Di Biming's heart skipped a beat. Little Gio, don't worry. The next time I visit, I can accompany you out for a stroll. Is there really such a treasure that can help you disguise yourself? Others won't be able to find out? Yun Chujio said excitedly. A cultivator's spiritual sense was very powerful. A simple disguise could fool people who were not familiar with them. If they were familiar with someone, they would still be able to recognize them. Di Biming nodded. I'll think of a way. I should be able to get it. Wait for my good news. Prince Charming, if you can get one, you might as well get two. I want one too. Yun Chujio said slyly. Okay, I'll try my best. When Di Biming saw Yun Chujio trying to please him, the desire in his body stirred again. It was really sweet torture. After the two of them had breakfast, they were bored for a while. Di Biming said, You should prepare for the second round of the test. I'll go home first. I'll come back to see you in a few days. Okay. Prince Charming, you must keep yourself clean. If I find out that you've done something wrong, I won't forgive you. Yun Chujio said fiercely. Di Baiming curled his lips. Don't worry, I don't want anyone else but you. Yun Chujio felt that her little heart was not listening to her again. Damn it. The Prince Charming had become an upgraded version of her. He had seduced her so much that she did not want him anymore. Little Gio, no matter who provokes you, you can go ahead and teach them a lesson. If you can't handle it, tell me and I'll help you do it. Okay, but I'll try my best to take care of them myself. I'll use them as practice. If I can't handle them, I'll tell you. The feeling of being protected and cherished by others was too damn good, wasn't it? Keep these concealment talismans. Concealment talismans have limited use in the Azure Mystic continent, but their full power can be used in the Tian Yuan continent. Once activated, as long as you don't cause any spiritual fluctuations, people below the third layer of the spiritual venerable realm won't be able to find you. Di Baiming handed Yun Chujio 5 concealment talismans. Yun Chujio took them and kept them in her storage ring. She said with a smile, Prince Charming, doesn't your mother want a beautifying pill? Give this universal essence cleansing pill to her. Even if it can't increase the level of her spirit root, it should have a beautifying effect. Yun Chujio took out a universal essence cleansing pill and handed it to Di Baiming. No matter what, the palace mistress was still Prince Charming's mother, so it was necessary to build a good relationship with her. Besides, no matter what her original intention was, the title of the palace mistress old friend was still helpful to her. Di Baiming took the porcelain bottle and put it away. I will hand it to my mother. Little Gio, my mother will change her attitude towards you sooner or later. You don't have to worry too much. Yun Chujio thought to herself, she was worried? What a joke. The one who should be worried should be that old witch. However, she would not be stupid enough to tell the truth. Instead, she pretended to be strong and nodded. Prince Charming, sincerity is everything. Your mother will be touched by my actions sooner or later. Seeing that Yun Chujio was so sensible, Di Baiming's heart softened even more. He felt that she was smart, beautiful, strong, and sensible. In short, no matter how he looked at her, she was perfect. He could not wait to be together with her all the time. Yun Chujio saw that Di Baiming was obsessed with her beauty. She was very proud in her heart. Her words were not for nothing. Indeed, if she wanted to get a man, she had to be good to his family. Her words were not deceptive. Chapter 990. Give me the tuition fees. The two of them continued to flirt for a while before Di Baiming deactivated the concealment talisman and left. TSK, falling in love here is like having an affair. It's really exciting. Yun Chujio mumbled and then went downstairs. Shopkeeper Chi knew of Di Baiming's whereabouts the entire time. When he saw that Di Baiming had stayed in Yun Chujio's house for an entire night, he was so shocked that he could not close his mouth. Oh my God! It seemed that he had really underestimated this little girl. His Excellency had been so cautious that he had used a concealment talisman to secretly meet this little girl. Shopkeeper Chi recalled how Di Baiming had treated the three beauties of Tianyuan Academy yesterday, and then he thought about how Di Baiming had stayed in Yun Chujio's room for an entire night. Yun Chujio's status was raised in his heart once again. Regardless of how the palace mistress felt about this little girl, with His Excellency's favor, this little girl might really be able to soar to the top. It was better for him to be more polite. Miss Gio, is there anything you need me to do? Asked Shopkeeper Chi's old face smiled like a flower. Yun Chujio found it funny in her heart, but when she thought of what Di Baiming said yesterday, this fellow smiled and said, Didn't the palace mistress say that I should look for you to ask for tuition fees? I need 4 people's worth, a total of 200,000 upper-grade spirit stones. Shopkeeper Chi's face stiffened. Yesterday, His Excellency was just spouting nonsense. The palace mistress had never said such things, but if he did not give it to her, this little girl would definitely hate him. What should he do? Shopkeeper Chi had an idea. Miss Gio, there are still 2 rounds of tests. After you complete them, he'll give you the spirit stones. Yun Chujio pouted. You don't think that I can't pass the test, do you? I'm sorry. I will definitely pass the test. I'll leave it with you for now. I'm going out for a walk. Do you need me to bring you some gifts? Shopkeeper Chi shook his head like a rattledrum. He had already discovered part of Yun Chujia's demonic attributes. Bring him a gift? What a joke. Who knows, she might be able to extort him when the time comes. Alright, if you don't want anything, then forget it. It's not that I don't want to give it to you, it's that you don't want it yourself. After Yun Chujio finished speaking, she called the Feng Ming trio and hopped out of Long Wind Inn. Shopkeeper Chi wiped the cold sweat on his head. This little girl looked rather lively. Why did she make people feel guilty? Shopkeeper Chi quickly reported the matter of Yun Chujio asking for 200,000 high-grade spirit stones to the palace mistress. The palace mistress quickly replied, If she passes, then give it to her. Shopkeeper Chi held the sound transmission talisman in his hand and was a little stunned. From the tone of the palace mistress, it seemed that she did not think that Yun Chujio and the others could pass the Tianyuan Academy's tests. Speaking of which, they were all at the first level of the spirit sect. The first round could be considered to have been passed by accident. Could they even pass the next 2 rounds? When the sky turned slightly dark, Yun Chujio's group of 4 had just returned. Yun Chujio walked in while humming a tune. Shopkeeper Chi went up to welcome her. Miss Jio, you're back? Yes, Shopkeeper Chi. Although you said that there was no need for me to bring you a gift, I still brought you something. Here, it's a meat bun from Heaven's Sent restaurant. The taste is very good. Take it and eat it. Yun Chujio took out a steamed bun wrapped in oil paper from her storage ring and handed it to Shopkeeper Chi. Shopkeeper Chi held the wrapped bun and was actually a little touched. It was not that the bun was very hard to get, but this kind of considerate behavior surprised him. No matter what, Miss Jio was the master and he was the servant. She still thought of him. It made people's hearts warm. Chapter 991. Confidence or Stupidity? And Feng, who watched from the corner, saw the dumbfounded look on Shopkeeper Chi's face and could not help but give Yun Chujio a thumbs up. TSK, Miss Jio was indeed smart. Old Chi was the palace mistress confidant, and he was able to gain the recognition of Old Chi. The palace mistress might look at her differently after this. Miss Jio was on a roll. And Feng was actually overthinking things. The truth was that while the 4 of them were eating, Yun Chujio had a big appetite and a small stomach. She had ordered too many steamed buns, so she packed up the leftovers. When she saw Shopkeeper Chi, she gave them to him. Another day passed, and the time for the second round had arrived. After the first round of elimination, there were only 1,000 groups left in the second round of the test out of the initial 4,000. Yun Chujio was curious. She did not know what kind of trial the second round of the test would make them go through. It would be best if it was a team-based one. Otherwise, senior brother Feng Ming and the others might not be able to pass it. She was full of confidence in her ability to help them pass the tests. The teacher in charge of the test finally appeared. He looked around and everyone immediately quieted down. The second round of the test is still a team test. After you are transported to the test locations, there are several scenarios that you can choose from. The difficulty of the demon beasts you encounter is basically the same. The less time you take, the higher the points of the group. The group that is in the top 500 will qualify for the third round. This round of the test is the same as the first round. If you encounter any danger, you can send your spiritual sense into the Jade token and give up. However, once you activate the Jade token, you will also lose the chance to enter the third round. The test begins now. As soon as the teacher finished speaking, a white light flashed before everyone's eyes, and they were teleported to the test location. There were several entrances in front of everyone, and on them were marked forest, valley, desert, ice field, ocean. Everyone had an epiphany. It turned out that they could choose the scene freely. Most of them chose the forest and the valley. These 2 scenes were the ones they were most familiar with. The demonic beasts inside were often encountered and they knew their weaknesses. They could get twice the results with half the effort. Junior sister Little Jio, which scenario should we choose? Feng Ming asked in a low voice. He thought to himself, why not choose the desert? After all, They had landed in the desert when they had just descended. Well, choose this. Yun Chujio walked to the entrance of the ocean. Feng Ming and the other two froze. The ocean. Junior sister little Gio, did you not sleep well last night? Although we can swim, we are at a disadvantage against sea beasts. Aren't we just looking for trouble? However, when Feng Ming and the other two saw Yun Chujio's resolute attitude, they could only acquiesce and stand in front of the entrance of the ocean. After everyone had chosen their preferred destinations, only Yun Chujio and the others stood in front of the entrance to the ocean. Everyone could not help but laugh. What country bumpkins? You chose the ocean. Do you think you're merfolk? The spiritual power attacks of cultivators would be greatly reduced in the water. Sea beasts of the same level completely crushed cultivators of the same level. These four trash had low spiritual power to begin with, and they even chose the ocean setting. That was equivalent to giving up on the test. It seemed that they had really made it past the first round through sheer luck. The teacher in charge of the test also looked at Yun Chujio and the others in confusion. Although this ocean entrance had always been set up, no one chose this option. This group 250 was the first to choose this scenario in thousands of years. Were they that confident or were they out of their minds? Since all of you have chosen, let the test begin. After the instructor formed a seal, everyone disappeared from where they stood earlier. When they reopened their eyes, they had already entered their chosen environments. Chapter 992. Was that lightning and slow lightning? When Yun Chujio and the other three opened their eyes, they were already in a sea of water. Feng Ming and the other two tried their best to get up to the surface of the water, but unfortunately, they discovered a rock wall instead. This place was sealed. They were going to die. Could it be over just like that? Just as the three of them were holding their breaths with ashen faces, Yun Chujio handed each of them a pure white bead. Activate this bead, and you will be able to move freely. The three of them did not have time to think. They activated the bead in their hands according to the method that Yun Chujio demonstrated. Then, they miraculously discovered that they could breathe and talk freely just like on land. Feng Ming cried out in surprise, "Junior sister little Gio, is this a water-repellent pearl? This must be the legendary water-repellent pearl. Isn't it?" Yun Chujio smiled and nodded. "Yes, these are water-repellent pearls." Gong Yi and Shixian were also very surprised. They did not expect junior sister little Gio to have the fabled water-repellent pearl. Junior sister little Gio always surprised them. No wonder she chose the ocean environment. However, although they could move and breathe freely in the sea, their spiritual power attacks would be greatly weakened in the water. What if they encountered sea beasts? Could they defeat them? While the three of them were thinking, a sea beast swam in front of them. These days, the three of them had been revising on the various demonic beasts in the Tianyuan continent, but they did not pay attention to the information of the sea beasts. Unexpectedly, Yun Chujio said in a clear voice, "That's a level 14 sea beast, the iron fin swordfish. It can shoot water arrows, and its weakness is in its eyes. We will set up a spiritual power shield to deflect its water arrows, and then find an opportunity to target its eyes." Feng Ming and the other two nodded, but they were still unsure. Although this sea beast was a level lower than them, they were still in its preferred environment. Could they do it? Just as the three of them were thinking, the iron fin swordfish began to attack. Several water arrows shot towards the four of them. Feng Ming and the other two quickly used a spiritual energy shield to block the attack according to Yun Chujio's instructions, and then launched their own wind blade attacks toward it. Unfortunately, they discovered that the wind blades, which were originally fast on land, traveled much slower in the water. The iron fin swordfish easily dodged the wind blades from all three of them. The iron fin swordfish spat out a bubble disdainfully. "These guys are really weak. They dared to challenge me when they are so weak. They are really courting death." The iron fin swordfish launched its second round of attacks, and hundreds of water arrows shot towards the four of them. After Yun Chujio dodged the water arrows, she made her move. As she waved her hands, a few purple lightning bolts slowly swam towards the iron fin swordfish. Feng Ming and the other two almost cried when they saw the lightning bolts traveling at the speed of a turtle. Junior sister little Gio, is this still called lightning? It should be called slow lightning. The slow speed doesn't give it lethality at all. Junior sister little 9, you probably didn't expect your lightning to become like this in the water. Looks like they're going to be eliminated in this round of tests. The iron fin swordfish also revealed a disdainful expression. This little girl was even worse than those three. Although purple lightning was relatively rare, at that speed, it could dodge it with its eyes closed. Therefore, the iron fin swordfish completely ignored the purple lightning and continued to attack Feng Ming and the other two. Feng Ming and the other two wanted to cry, but they had no tears. It was over. Even if they knew the iron fin swordfish's weakness, it was useless. It was already good enough that they were not turned into Swiss cheese. They had no way to get close to the iron fin swordfish, let alone blind it. Chapter 993. The clueless trio. Just as Feng Ming and the other two were in despair, a sudden change occurred. The originally slow purple lightning bolts suddenly sped up and flew towards the iron fin swordfish's eyes. The iron fin swordfish was shocked and quickly dodged to the side. It initially wanted to dodge the purple lightning bolt's attack, but what happened next stunned it. As it dodged, the purple lightning actually turned around and chased after it. What the hell was this? How could lightning change directions? Yun Chujia's hands were still waving, and more purple lightning bolts rushed toward it. They were much faster than the previous ones, and they were all targeting the iron fin swordfish's eyes. The iron fin swordfish was so scared that it no longer cared about Feng Ming and the other two. It turned around and ran. The lightning bolts chased after it relentlessly, and the iron fin swordfish was about to collapse from exhaustion. Damn it, what the hell was this? If I knew that that little girl was so powerful, I would not have provoked her no matter what. Help! Someone save me! Unfortunately, even though the iron fin swordfish swam very fast, the small lightning bolts were even faster. A few small lightning bolts struck the iron fin swordfish's eyes. The iron fin swordfish began to roll violently in the water. Then its belly was facing up. It was dead. Yun Chujio put the iron fin swordfish's corpse into her storage ring. Then she said to the dumbfounded Feng Ming and the other two, "Let's keep moving forward and try to get out as soon as possible." Oh. Yes. Feng Ming and the other two's worldview was refreshed once again. So lightning could turn in the water. So lightning knew how to confuse the enemy. It turned out that junior sister little Gio was a demon both on land and in the sea. No, she seemed to be even more demonic in the water. No wonder she chose the ocean, she was that confident. Oh my god, they originally thought that they had already thought that junior sister little Gio was already abnormal. However, they did not expect that the abnormality was immeasurable. Junior sister little Gio would surprise them with something new every time. She was truly a monster. Yun Chujio led the trio and continued to swim forward. The water in front of them stirred as two huge creatures swam over. Each of them was over 1,000 feet long, and the scales on their bodies sparkled. If it weren't for the fact that they did not have claws, they would have looked like the legendary divine dragons. Sawtooth Arowana, a level 15 sea beast. It has a fierce temperament. Although it can't use spiritual power attacks, because of its huge size, it will directly bite its opponent. Moreover, its body is strong, so ordinary spiritual power attacks cannot harm it. Its weakness is also in its eyes. Yun Chujio described the sea beast simply and neatly. Feng Ming and the other two thought that Yun Chujio was just not human. Not only was her spiritual power abnormal, but her memory was also abnormal. They were together all the time, so they did not know when she studied those records. She probably remembered it after flipping through some books at the bookshop. It was too depressing as a regular human. Junior sister little Gio, how do we deal with these two Sawtooth Arowana? Do we use the same method as before? Feng Ming asked in a low voice. Well, first confuse them and then react accordingly. Two Sawtooth Arowana are much more difficult to deal with than one. Moreover, these were a level higher than the iron fin swordfish from before, so things would not be as easy. The two Sawtooth Arowana had already arrived in front of the four people. Their huge eyes revealed a look of disdain. They felt that killing these 4 weak humans would be too easy. Chapter 994. Sawtooth Arowana, Senior Brother Feng Ming, the 3 of you surround and attack the smaller one. I'll deal with the bigger one. Yun Chujio whispered to Feng Ming and the other 2. Feng Ming and the other 2 nodded. Then, they heard Yun Chujio say to the big Sawtooth Arowana, "You shameless piece of trash. You're just a stinky fish to begin with, and you call yourself an Arowana? You're shameless. Do you dare to fight me one-on-one?" Although the Sawtooth Arowana did not understand the meaning of being a piece of shit, it still understood the meaning of being shameless. It was so angry that it opened its bloody mouth and lunged toward Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio pursed her lips and summoned the 5 immortal swords to attack the Sawtooth Arowana. When the Sawtooth Arowana saw Yun Chujio command 5 immortal swords to attack it at the same time, it was shocked. Oh, so this little girl seems to have some real ability after all. Her spiritual sense is so powerful. However, no matter how powerful you are, you will die here today. The golden scales of the Sawtooth Arowana were very hard. When the immortal sword stabbed it, they barely made a scratch. The Sawtooth Arowana was very proud. Its body was extremely strong. As long as it protected its eyes, even a high-level cultivator would be unable to do anything to it, let alone a weak chicken. The Sawtooth Arowana opened its bloody mouth and lunged toward Yun Chujio again. Its sharp teeth flashed with a cold light. Yun Chujio quickly dodged, woman-fish tangled together in a struggle. Soon, Yun Chujio was at a disadvantage. The Sawtooth Arowana felt very proud. It felt that it was only a matter of time before it ate Yun Chujio, so it let down its guard. Yun Chujio suddenly waved her hands and shot out several purple lightning bolts. The purple lightning bolts accelerated and quickly shot toward the Sawtooth Arawana's eyes. The Sawtooth Arowana still felt arrogant. When it saw the purple lightning bolts coming towards it, it quickly swam aside to avoid them. It did not expect the purple lightning bolts to turn around. The Sawtooth Arowana had no choice but to keep swimming to avoid them. Although it avoided the eyes, the purple lightning bolts went through the gaps in its scales. The Sawtooth Arowana felt miserable. Although its scales were very tough, the flesh in the gaps was very fragile. After being struck by the small purple lightning bolts, it was in so much pain that it immediately started rolling. When it was distracted, the rest of the small lightning bolts struck its eyes. Before the Sawtooth Arowana died, it could not understand why the lightning bolts could change direction. If it was given another chance, it would have left this little demon alone. Seeing that the Sawtooth Arowana was dead, Yun Chujio quickly went to support Feng Ming and the other 2. At the time, Feng Ming and the other 2 were already forced to the point that they could not retaliate. Fortunately, they had the protection of their spiritual energy. Otherwise, they would have been swallowed by the Sawtooth Arowana a long time ago. When the Sawtooth Arowana saw that its companion was dead, it became even more agitated. It stirred up the water in its immediate vicinity in rage. Yun Chujio used her immortal sword to distract it while releasing several small purple lightning bolts. It was exactly the same as the Sawtooth Arowana from before. 15 minutes later, the Sawtooth Arowana was also dead. Yun Chujio put away the corpses of the 2 Sawtooth Arowana and waved her hands. "Let's keep moving." Feng Ming and the other 2 had already digested the fact that Yun Chujio was also a demon in the water. They continued to swim forward with Yun Chujio. These 2 groups are probably the easiest. There must be some powerful big guys behind them. If the situation is not good, you guys can go ahead and leave me while I deal with whatever comes. I'll have my own way to escape, Yun Chujio said to Feng Ming and the other 2. As long as all 4 members reached the end, they would be considered to have passed. Therefore, they could still escape if they could not defeat them. Feng Ming and the other 2 nodded in agreement. They were a little nervous. They did not know what kind of sea beast they would encounter next. Chapter 995. Giant Poison Thorn Dolphin. In a short while, the answer to their question was revealed. A round-bodied sea beast covered in thorns swam over from across them. The giant poison thorn dolphin, a 16th-level sea beast. The thorns on its body carry a lethal poison and can be shot out of the body. Its weakness is in its rear, but its position is extremely concealed. It also has the protection of the poisonous thorns, so it is extremely difficult to deal with. In a while, I will sprinkle some ink to confuse it. You guys swim ahead, I will delay it for a while and then chase after you. Yun Chujio saw that the giant poison thorn dolphin was really troublesome, so she let Feng Ming and the other two retreat first. Feng Ming and the other two also knew that they would be a burden if they stayed, so they immediately nodded in agreement. Yun Chujio waved at the giant poison thorn dolphin. Ugly monster, if you don't want to die, hurry up and make way. Otherwise, I will pull out all your poisonous thorns and turn you into a naked ball. Although Feng Ming and the other two knew that the situation was critical, they still could not help but laugh when they heard Yun Chujio's words. Junior sister little Jio must have been struck bald by lightning so many times that she wanted to share her suffering. The giant poison thorn dolphin was so angry that its body swelled up. The stingers on its body flashed with a dim light and shot towards Yun Chujio and the others. After Yun Chujio dodged, she took out the ink that she had prepared beforehand from her storage ring and poured it into the seawater. Instantly, the seawater turned pitch black and nothing could be seen. Feng Ming and the other two ran away from the bottom of the sea while Yun Chujio secretly shot out several purple lightning bolts, trying to sneak attack the giant poison thorn dolphin. Unexpectedly, the giant poison thorn dolphin was very smart. When it saw the seawater turn black, it was afraid that someone would sneak attack it. It used its poisonous stinger to cover its back, and the purple lightning bolts struck the poisonous stinger. It did not cause any harm to the giant poison thorn dolphin. Moreover, the giant poison thorn dolphin could see Yun Chujio's position through the light of the lightning. It threw several poisonous stingers at Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio quickly dodged. This guy was like throwing a stone at his own feet. The seawater was pitch black, so she could only rely on the sound of the water to determine the location of the poisonous stinger. In a moment of carelessness, a poisonous stinger pierced her calf. At this time, the ink had already been diluted, and her vision was restored. Yun Chujio pulled out the poisonous stingers, and then she was furious. Damn it! Ugly monster, I must pull out all your poisonous stingers today. I'll chop you to death. The giant poison thorn dolphin rolled its eyes in disdain. Kill me? I'm the one who will kill you. I'll kill you first, and then go after the other three weaklings. The giant poison thorn dolphin's body swelled up, and several poisonous thorns charged towards Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio raised her spiritual energy barrier while deflecting those poisonous stingers with lightning. The purple lightning was ideal for tracking moving targets. Although it could not do anything to the poisonous stingers, it could stop them in their tracks. After some time, the poisonous stingers could only be reabsorbed by the giant poison thorn dolphin. Yun Chujio and the giant poison thorn dolphin were in a stalemate. Yun Chujio's purple lightning could not do anything to the giant poison thorn dolphin. Similarly, the poisonous stingers of the giant poison thorn dolphin could not hit Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio was very anxious. She did not have the time to waste with it. If she was eliminated due to a slower completion time, the loss would outweigh the gain. How could she quickly kill this thing? If she wanted to kill this giant poison thorn dolphin, she had to let it shoot out the poisonous thorns near its back. Only then would her purple lightning be able to hit its weak point. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes as she fought. She cursed, "But to think that you are a 16th level sea beast. You can't even deal with me, a 1st level spirit sect cultivator. You are too weak. Those poisonous thorns of yours can't hurt me at all unless the number of your poison thorns doubles. Unfortunately, you don't have any more stingers, you piece of trash. Watch me use my swords." Yun Chujio suddenly summoned 5 immortal swords to attack the giant poison thorn dolphin. The giant poison thorn dolphin was shocked and quickly dodged. This wretched girl was really difficult to deal with. It seemed that it had to use all of its poisonous stingers in one strike. Yes, let's do that. When the giant poison thorn dolphin thought of this, all of its poisonous stingers were shot at Yun Chujio at once. Yun Chujio dodged with great effort and was still hit by a poison stinger on her calf. Just as the giant poison thorn dolphin felt triumphant, it felt a sharp pain in its back. Several small purple lightning bolts had struck its back without anyone noticing. Chapter 996, still a little slow at that moment. In the courtyard where the staff in charge of the test waited, the instructors were leisurely drinking tea and chatting. Guess which group will be the first to come out in this round? Group number 18's strength isn't bad. Moreover, the scene that they chose in the valley has more commonly encountered demon beasts. They should be the first to come out. I think group number 32 will be the first. The forest that they chose is very similar to the demon beast forest. They should be able to quickly deal with anything they encounter. Why don't any of you think highly of group 250? They took first place in the previous round. A teacher asked with a smile. Forget it. Them placing first in the previous round was probably like a blind cat that met a dead rat. They just happened to find a large patch of violet brocade grass, which is why they took first place. The second round of the test depends on strength. They might give up halfway. I heard that they entered the forbidden area? Didn't they say that those who enter the forbidden area will never return? How did those four escape unscathed? It's probably because their spiritual power is too low, so they weren't discovered by the things inside? Right, what exactly is locked inside? I'm not sure either. Only the academy's higher-ups know. In short, it's not something good. A teacher saw that they were getting more and more off-topic, so he said, "You guys are getting off-topic. Let's talk about this test. How long do you think it will take for the first place to come out?" There was a similar test before, and the fastest time was 8 to 10 hours. I think it will be dark by the time the first group comes out. This group of people's aptitude is average. I think it will be midnight by the time a group makes it out. Before the teacher could finish his sentence, the name of a group appeared on the screen. Group 250 has passed. The teachers looked at each other. The screen was most likely out of repair. Was it broken? How was that possible? It had only been less than 16 hours. How could they have passed? Moreover, Group 250 had chosen the ocean environment, which was the most difficult to pass. Not to mention 16 hours, even 36 hours might not be enough. Just as they were stared in disbelief, Yun Chujio and the other three had been teleported out. Although the four of them were in a sorry state, and there seemed to be bloodstains on Yun Chujio's calf, they had indeed passed the second round of the test. How? How did you pass so quickly? A teacher asked in disbelief. Naturally, we killed those sea beasts and then passed. Do you need me to bring out the corpses of those sea beasts for you to inspect? Yun Chujio said with a smile. Alright, bring one out and let us take a look. Although the teacher felt that this was a bit too much, he was too curious and said shamelessly. Yun Chujio did not mind. She brought out the corpse of a sawtooth arowana and threw it onto the ground with a plop. The huge corpse immediately occupied half of the floor. Someone exclaimed, "This is a level 15 sawtooth arowana. In the sea, it is at least equivalent to a cultivator of the fourth layer of the spirit sect." Someone noticed that the sawtooth arawana's eyes had been charred black, and immediately understood how the sawtooth arawana died. Although these four people's spiritual power was weak, they had found the sawtooth arawana's weakness. No wonder they were able to kill it. Teachers, our spiritual power is insufficient to supplement our intelligence, but we were still a little slow. May I ask, which rank are we? We haven't been eliminated, right? Yun Chujio asked with a worried expression. Chapter 997. We actually came in first place? All the teachers' faces were stiff. Did you do this on purpose? What do you mean by being a little slow? What do you mean by not being eliminated? All of you have broken the record. Still you were slow. Are you going to give others a chance or not? One of the teachers pointed at the screen angrily. Look at it yourself. Yun Chujio glanced at the screen and saw that only the name of her group was on it. She asked in puzzlement, could it be that the other groups have all escaped? Only our group is left? It's over, we've been eliminated. I've already tried my best, but I didn't expect to still be eliminated. 3 senior brothers, I've let you all down. I didn't expect that the people of the Tianyuan continent would be so ridiculously strong. It's over, we can't enter the Tianyuan Academy anymore. My heart is about to break. Yun Chujio said with a sad face. Feng Ming and the other two did not understand. They had always listened to Yun Chujio. When they heard Yun Chujio say this, they thought that they had been eliminated. Their faces also revealed a disappointed expression. Junior sister Little Gio, your skills are not inferior to others. If you are eliminated, so be it. We will try again next year. Feng Ming was afraid that Yun Chujio would be too sad, so he comforted her. That's right, junior sister Little Gio. At most, we can start all over again. Only when we know our weaknesses can we improve. Shi Xian also comforted her. Gang Yi gritted his teeth. Junior sister Little Gio, we are the ones who dragged you down. Next year, we will definitely not drag you down. Those teachers had an expression that said, fuck. You guys are not deliberately making fun of us, right? The people of the Tianyuan continent are ridiculously strong? Are you sure you're not mocking them? If they are so freakishly strong that they haven't come out yet, you guys are weak? If you guys are weak, would you guys get first place twice in a row? However, seeing that the little girl had cried so pitifully, it could not have been intentional. Perhaps she really thought that she had been eliminated. Thus, the teachers coughed dryly a few times. Cough, cough, don't cry. You guys haven't been eliminated. You guys are the first to come out. Wait at the side. Feng Ming and the other two were initially stunned before they cheered. Junior sister Little Gio, we're in first place. We haven't been eliminated. That's great. Junior sister Little Gio, we've entered the third round. Don't be sad. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes in her heart. Of course, I know that we're in first place. We're the only ones on that list. Moreover, those teachers had an expression of arrogance. Only the three of you are stupid enough to think that you've been eliminated. She definitely did it on purpose. She just liked to look at those teachers who looked down on them with a dumbfounded expression. Look down on me more. I'll blind your snobbish eyes with my radiance. She took out a handkerchief and wiped her tears. We're not eliminated after all. That's great. So the cultivators of the Tianyuan continent aren't that strong after all. The faces of the teachers stiffened. The feeling of being slapped in the face was terrible. Those other trash had not come out yet. They were even worse than this Team 250 who only had members at the first level of the spirit sect. Idiots. After a few more hours, the name of Team 18 lit up. Then In Sulian and the other three were teleported out. Because Yun Chujio and the other three were waiting in the corner, In Sulian and the other three did not see them when they came out. Therefore, In Sulian and the others naturally thought that they were the first out. Their faces were full of pride. Teachers, we took less than 10 hours. We should be the first, right? We could have been faster, but we were delayed for the sake of training. Otherwise, we would have come out in 10 hours. In Sulian could not help but say happily. Chapter 998. A resounding slap to the face. None of the teachers said a word. All of them were as silent as a mouse. In Sulian could not help but feel a little smug. It seemed that they were too fast. These teachers were all shocked. Actually, we have encountered demonic beasts we were familiar with, so we were a little faster. If it were demonic beasts that we haven't seen before, we wouldn't be able to come out so quickly. In Sulian pretended to be modest and said a few words. Another disciple surnamed Zhang, who had his head raised, said, "The four of us already have higher spiritual power than the others. It's normal for us to get first place, but it wouldn't be normal if we didn't." Another hawk-nosed person also echoed, "Junior In, we can't be arrogant and complacent, but we also can't belittle ourselves. We still need to have confidence. If we don't have confidence in the first place, won't the examinees that come out later be considered trash?" That's right. If we don't have confidence, won't those four trash from the Azure Mystic continent have to bang their heads against the wall? Haha, I bet that they won't be able to get out even if it's dark tomorrow unless they voluntarily give up and get teleported out, a fatty said with a pout. Those teachers were all angered to the point of laughter. If Yun Chujio's group originally did not exist, their words could be explained as just youthful and frivolous banter. However, with Yun Chujio's outstanding results, this sort of behavior reeked of shamelessness. In Sulian and the other three were boasting like four clowns until one of them, the hawk-nosed person, turned around and saw the screen. What? That's impossible. How can number 250 be on top of us? Following the hawk-nosed person's words, In Sulien and the other two quickly turned to look at the screen. When they saw that group number 250 was placed above number 18, as if a loud slap had landed on their faces, especially that fatty who said that Yun Chujio and the others would not be able to complete the test even if it was dark tomorrow. Impossible! There must be something wrong with the screen. How could they be faster than us? Or are they? If they haven't come out yet, there must be something wrong with the screen. The fatty shouted. That's right, there must be something wrong with the screen. Or are they? In Sulian's face turned red. If Yun Chujio and the others really won first place, did that mean we have lost our dignity just now? Are you guys looking for us? I'm really sorry. I was a little tired from waiting, so I took a nap. Did you guys just get out? Yun Chujio hopped over and said with a smile. When did you get out? In Sulian's head buzzed with confusion. This Yun Chujio finished earlier than us. How is this possible? It must be because the ocean environment was easier. They had taken advantage of it. Us? We weren't too early. We were only 5 or 6 hours earlier than you guys, Yun Chujio said indifferently. 5 or 6 hours earlier. Impossible. Did you guys come out in 6 hours? Who are you trying to fool? In Sulien shouted angrily as if this could cover up the embarrassment and panic in her heart. If you don't believe me, you can ask the teachers. Yun Chujio curled her lips and said indifferently. In Sulien looked at the teachers and asked in a slightly trembling voice, Is what she said true? Did they really come out in just 6 hours? One of the teachers coughed dryly. Yes, group 250 got out in 6 hours. Chapter 999. You are nothing. In Sulien heard what the teacher said and her head buzzed. She wished she could find a hole to hide in. She thought of what she had said before and felt like she was the subject of a joke. Just now, someone said that we, the trash, have to run into a wall? So we got first place by accident. I wonder if the rest of us will jump off the cliff or hang ourselves, or buy a piece of tofu to kill ourselves. Yun Chujio said faintly. In Sulien gritted her teeth. Yun Chujio, don't be so smug. You just got lucky. There aren't many people that chose the ocean environment. Maybe the demonic beasts inside are all low level, so you took advantage of it. Yun Chujio looked at her. Low level? Open your eyes and see if this is a low-level demonic beast. With a bang, a sawtooth arowana was thrown to the ground. The sound it made when it hit the ground was like an earthquake. In Sulien and the others were shocked. Excuse me, second Miss In, is this sawtooth arowana considered low-level? Yun Chujio asked coldly. In Sulien braced herself and said, Humph. It's just a level 15 demonic beast. What's so great about it? We've encountered a level 17 demonic beast. Secondly, Miss In, don't you know that a sea beast's power in the sea rises by at least 3 levels? A level 15 demonic beast is equivalent to a level 18 demonic beast on land. Humph. What's there to boast about killing a level 18 demon beast in 6 hours? Even though In Sulien felt a little weak in her heart, her mouth did not give in. 1 is too little? Then what about 2? Clang. Another sawtooth arowana was thrown to the ground. Those instructors had been very shocked when they saw 1 sawtooth arowana. Now that they saw 2, they were even more shocked. How did these 4 examinees do it? How could they kill 2 sawtooth arowanas at their level? In Sulien stammered, Humph. Maybe the sawtooth arowana was already injured. You guys just took advantage of it. Yun Chujio looked at her. In Sulien, I think you will never be successful in your life. You will never be able to acknowledge other people's successes. You always think that you are superior and rely on your family background. The truth is, you are nothing. Yun Chujio, what right do you have to lecture me? Shut up. In Sulien was so angry that her face was red and her neck was thick with veins. She wanted to strangle Yun Chujio to death. Your mouth is on me. What right do you have to tell me to shut up? In Sulien, you are much worse than your sister. Your sister is the heaven and you are the mud. You will never be better than her. Shut up. You are talking nonsense. Yun Chujio, I will kill you. In Sulian had lost her mind from Yun Chujio's provocation. She threw several wind blades at Yun Chujio. Stop. In Sulian, how can you be so impudent here? A teacher shouted angrily. In Sulian was shocked. She had acted rashly earlier. Now that she had calmed down, she knew that she had caused trouble. She had actually attacked someone while in the Tianyuan Academy in public, and in front of so many teachers. That was equivalent to looking down on the teachers. In Sulian was anxious. She rolled her eyes and pretended to faint. Yun Chujio pursed her lips. How could she use such an old trick? She was too lazy to expose her, so she returned to Feng Ming and the other two to continue her meditation. After a while, more and more examinees passed the test. In Sulian hid in an inconspicuous place with her tail between her legs. The teachers also turned a blind eye. The Yin family was powerful, so they had to occasionally look the other way. Chapter 1000. The third round of the test. After the other examinees also got out of their chosen environs, they saw that the number 1 was group 250. They also raised their doubts. Yun Chujio was too lazy to explain herself. After all, the truth was already shown on the display board. It was not until the evening of the next day that all the examinees came out. They thought that they would rest for 3 days before the third round of the test. They did not expect to be informed that the groups ranked in the top 500 would immediately participate in the third round of the test. I am Teacher Ouyang. I'll be in charge of the third round. All of you will follow me and board the flying spirit tool. We will head to the test site, said an old man. Everyone boarded the flying spirit tool in order. Yun Chujio and the other 3 found a corner and sat down on the spot to meditate. The examinees discussed among themselves. I have never heard of anyone who has to leave the Tianyuan Academy to take the test. Where are they taking us? Who knows? It's probably a secret realm or something like that. It should still be used to calculate the scores. No matter where we go, those with high spiritual power will have the advantage. Some people manage to get lucky twice. It's time for them to show their true colors this time. The one who spoke was the man surnamed Zhang, who was in the same group as In Sulian. That's right. I was wondering why they chose the ocean scene. It turns out that they were there to pick up the scraps. The ocean scene hasn't been picked up for thousands of years. The sea beasts inside don't know how to fight anymore, so they picked up the scraps. The fatty who was in the same group as him echoed the sentiment. Other people also chimed in. They were saying that Yun Chujio and the others had gotten first place twice due to sheer luck, and not because of their strength. A few people did not agree. The entry tests at Tianyuan Academy were not just for show. It was a coincidence that they got first place once, and to achieve it a second time was definitely due to their own strength. It seemed that the 4 people who ascended from the Azure Mystic Continent were not ordinary people. It made sense. To be able to ascend at such a young age, they must have extraordinary abilities. It was better for them not to join in the fun so as not to offend the wrong people. 3 days passed in a flash. The flying spirit tool had yet to arrive at the destination. Some of the disciples could not hold themselves back and used their courage to ask Teacher Ouyang, Teacher Ouyang, how much longer do we have before we reach the location of the trial? Don't be impatient. We still need at least another half-month to arrive. Teacher Ouyang did not put on airs and said very casually, half a month? Yun Chujio felt that something was not right. It was not like the people of Tianyuan Academy had their brains kicked by a donkey. Was there a need to go to such a faraway place for an entrance test? Half a month passed by in the blink of an eye, but the flying spirit tool still had not been prepared for landing. Another examinee went to ask Teacher Ouyang, Teacher Ouyang, it's been half a month. Why haven't we arrived at our destination yet? Half a month? I said a month. Did you hear wrongly? Teacher Ouyang had a puzzled expression. The examinees immediately exploded. This Teacher Ouyang clearly said half a month before. Why did he say a month now? Teacher Ouyang changed his amiable expression from before and sternly shouted, Quiet! If there are any more disagreements, I'll directly revoke the test qualification. If I say a month, then it means a month. We will be able to reach the test location in a month. Everyone was frightened by these words and did not dare to make a sound, for fear of being disqualified. Another half a month passed, and everyone realized that the flying spirit tool still had no intention of landing. No matter how stupid they were, they knew that something was wrong. Chapter 1001. You are all too naive. Teacher Ouyang, you must give us a clear explanation today. What are you trying to do by changing the dates so casually? That's right. We are not 3-year-old children. There's no need for those lame reasons. Where exactly are you taking us? That's right. You must give us an explanation today. Otherwise, we might do something drastic. Teacher Ouyang's face sank. What do you mean? Our Tianyuan Academy has never lacked students. If you want to give up, then go ahead. Now I can let the flying spirit tool land. You can leave. Who wants to leave now? When Teacher Ouyang said this, those examinees who were previously filled with righteous indignation immediately became terrified. That's right, Tianyuan Academy was the place that they had always dreamed of. They had passed the first 2 rounds of tests with great difficulty. Could it be that they were going to give up after coming this far? Thus, everyone pulled back their words. Teacher Ouyang, what we said earlier was a little overboard. However, you should at least give us a clearer deadline, right? We can't possibly stay flying forever, right? Teacher Ouyang sneered. Deadline? Since you are here to participate in the test, you must abide by the rules. There is no specific deadline. Just wait until we land. After Teacher Ouyang finished speaking, he left, and the cabin door closed with a bang. The crowd immediately exploded. Fuck! What is going on? The dry rations I brought along have almost finished. If we don't land, won't I starve to death? Are we going to wait indefinitely? That Teacher Ouyang is too unreliable. How can there be such a test? Maybe the 3rd round of the test is to test our patience? What you said makes sense. Then, shall we continue to wait? A sneer came from the corner. Sigh. I didn't want to do it at first. After all, a tall tree attracts the wind. But you guys are too naive. I can't stand it anymore. Everyone followed the voice and looked over. The one who spoke was a beautiful girl with a roasted chicken leg in her hand. She said with a sneer as she chewed on it. Yun Chujio, what makes you think you can speak here? You are a piece of trash. Just to be honest with you. You are a disgrace, In Sulian said disdainfully. The hawk-nose who was with In Sulian echoed. That's right. What do the 4 of you old country bumpkins of Azure Mystic Continent know? How can a tree attract the wind? At most, you are 4 goebutsa. Ha. Yun Chujio sighed. Alright, since you think that I'm talking nonsense, then just pretend that you didn't hear anything. Anyway, I have food and drink and I can still play cards here. It's extremely comfortable. After saying that, Yun Chujio resumed her card game with Feng Ming and the other 2. They were having a great time as if nothing had happened just now. Some people were a little tempted to listen to her. Group 250, especially that little girl, seemed to be very smart. Could she have a good idea of what was happening? However, only a few dozen people had such thoughts. Most still felt that Yun Chujio was just bluffing. If they, the people of the Tianyuan continent, had no idea what to do, what could she possibly do? She was just deliberately trying to attract people's attention. Another half a month passed, and everyone started to get restless. They went to look for Teacher Ouyang again. Teacher Ouyang's attitude got even worse. He still said that those who wanted to leave could immediately leave the flying spirit tool, or else they would have to listen to the arrangements. Some people did not have much food left in their storage rings, so they became anxious. If things went on like that, they would starve to death, so they had to think of something. Chapter 1002. A great panic. Some people also had doubts about this test. There had never been such a situation in all the tests over the years. Could there really be something fishy going on here? They remembered what Yun Chujio had said before. When they saw the 4 of them happily eating and drinking, cultivating, or playing cards like it was just a normal day. It was extremely baffling. Could it be that this little girl had a solution to their predicament in mind? Yun Chujio, you didn't finish your words that day. What did you see? A few people approached Yun Chujio and asked shamelessly. Yun Chujio glanced at them. Some people said that I'm a waste, that I'm a country bumpkin or a goebatsao. Since I'm such a waste, I'd better not embarrass myself. You'd better ask them since they're the smart ones. The few of them laughed dryly. We didn't say that. We believe what you said. Tell us what you think. Yun Chujio saw that the few of them were quite sincere, so she no longer took offense. Let me ask you, when will the Tianyuan Academy lessons start? April 5th. When will we participate in the third round of the test? March 25th. Yun Chujio stopped talking after asking these two questions. The few of them stared at each other for quite a while, then she slapped her thigh. Fuck. We've already spent nearly 2 months on the flying spirit tool. Isn't it already almost 2 months since school started? Why are we still participating in the bullshit test? That's right. We're still trying our best to pass the test. We've all been fooled. Even if we can pass the test, it's already too late. But why is Tianyuan Academy doing this? All of us are on this flying spirit tool. Could it be that they are not going to recruit students this year? Or could it be that they are going to reselect those who have been eliminated? Their conversation immediately spread to the entire hall, and all the examinees were furious. They had been fooled by that teacher Ouyang. Could it be that teacher Ouyang was not from Tianyuan Academy at all? Where did he want to take them? Some people imagined many terrifying things, such as possession, or going to the mines to work as coolies. Some women were so scared that they started crying. If things went wrong, they might be sold to other people as concubines. What should they do? In Sulian shouted, "It's very easy to solve this problem. Well, capture that old man Ouyang and force him to tell the truth. Is there anyone who dares to go with me?" Everyone's eyes were red with anger. When they heard In Sulian's words, they immediately responded and rushed toward the cabin door. However, when they rushed to the cockpit, they found that there was no one in there. Teacher Ouyang's whereabouts were unknown. Even the teacher who had been piloting the flying spirit tool was nowhere to be seen. Everyone wanted to stop the flying spirit tool, but they found that they could not operate the flying spirit tool at all. What made them even more terrified was that they could not see anything in front of them or in all directions. It's over. We must have been lured into a trap. We're dead meat. The flying spirit tool has already lost its navigation. If there's a volcano or a cliff in front of us, we'll be done for. Let's quickly ride our swords and leave this flying spirit tool. We might still survive if we try, but if we stay here, we're just waiting to die. Someone immediately went to push the cabin door, but to their despair, the cabin door was sealed shut. Everyone fell into a great panic. Chapter 1003. Apologize immediately. Some people began to attack the cabin door like berserkers, trying to break it down. However, despite hundreds of people attacking the cabin door with their spiritual powers, the cabin door was not damaged at all. Everyone tragically discovered that, at this time, they were already trapped in this flying spirit tool and could only await their deaths. Everyone was unwilling to give up and hurled attacks in every direction. Some people even began to attack the cockpit, but there was no effect. This flying spirit tool seemed to be made of 10,000-year-old dark steel. No spiritual attack could damage it at all. Everyone collapsed and sat on the ground. Only Yun Chujio and the other three were still playing cards leisurely. Occasionally, they could hear Yun Chujio's bell-like laughter. Yun Chujio, do you have a heart? We are all worried to death, and you still have the mood to talk and laugh. You are shameless. In Sulian's eyes were red as she said fiercely. Yun Chujio looked at her. In Sulian, did you get dementia earlier? I wanted to say my piece back then, yet you and your lackeys said that I was overestimating myself, that I was a country bumpkin, and that I was a goebatsao. Now you remember me? I'm sorry, we are goebatsao. We only know how to eat, drink, and have fun. We don't know how to do anything else. In Sulian was so angry that her entire face turned red. Yun Chujio, do you think that you're that amazing? If we can't do anything about it, what can you possibly do? I just don't like your attitude. You act like it's none of your business. If we die, you won't be able to escape either. Yun Chujio shrugged. I do have an idea. However, I don't like you, your lackeys, and In Shuecheng. You and your bastard group. So, even if I had to, I wouldn't share it with you. Everyone felt like they were drowning yet suddenly found hope of survival. Even if it was just a piece of straw, they would grasp at it. Immediately, someone shouted, "In Sulian! In Shueching!" Quickly apologize to Yun Chujio. Once you apologize, perhaps Yun Chujio will share with us their solution. Thus, it was Yun Chujio who reminded us just now that we were trapped. Otherwise, we would still be kept in the dark. Therefore, Yun Chujio must have a way out. In Sulian in Shueching, quickly apologize. Thus, apologize. Apologize immediately. Otherwise, we will force you to apologize. Yun Chujio sighed in her heart. Humans were indeed the most animalistic. Previously, they were all trying to curry favor with others. Now that it might affect their own well-being, they immediately turned hostile and refused to acknowledge them. In Sulian could not believe the scene in front of her. Usually, these people would either flatter her or be subservient to her. She did not expect that they had completely changed their allegiance. In Zucheng's face was red as he shouted, "Are you crazy? If you dare to do anything to us, the Yin family will not forgive you. We will kill all of you." Although the Yin family is powerful, it is a life and death situation now. You must apologize to Yun Chujio quickly. Your family background won't matter when we're all dead. Otherwise, we will force you to apologize with our knives. Thus, apologize quickly, or else I will cut your faces and cripple your limbs. You still dare call Yun Chujio trash? I think you are even worse. You always rank behind number 250, and you still have the face to call her trash? You are just jealous of her ability. You are suffering from extreme jealousy. Chapter 1004. Open the door to a new world. Yun Chujio almost applauded these people. No wonder these people could pass 2 rounds of tests. Their eloquence was amazing. It was even better than what she said herself. The scolding was satisfying. In Sulian and In Zucheng's faces were as red as a pig's liver. When they saw that some people took out their spiritual weapons, they knew that they could not behave as they usually did. They gritted their teeth and decided that it was wiser to just go along for now. They would find another opportunity to kill Yun Chujio and these people in the future. Yun Chujio, we were wrong before. We apologize to you. In Shueching said 2 sentences through the gaps in his teeth. Yun Chujio looked at In Sulian again. In Sulian gritted her teeth and said, "I'm sorry." Yun Chujio scratched her ears. Your sincerity is not enough. If it's a perfunctory apology, I'm not satisfied. In Sulian and In Shueching were about to refute when one of the examinees kicked In Shueching and In Shueching in the crook of their legs. The 2 of them immediately kneeled and were about to get up. However, someone held a knife to their neck. Apologize. Apologize right now, or I'll kill you. Yun Chujio looked at everything in front of her and felt that she had opened the door to a new world. It turned out that she did not have to teach others a lesson by herself. It felt so good to watch others do it for her. It seemed that I had to make good use of public opinion and the bystanders in the future. This way, not only did I save energy, but I also stood at the peak of public opinion. Wasn't this great? In Sulian and In Zucheng's eyes were filled with anger. They wished that they could tear Yun Chujio into pieces. However, to save their lives, they could only grit their teeth and say, "We were wrong. We were jealous of your abilities. We apologize." Yun Chujio curled her lips. Are you guys just going to use your mouths to apologize? Shouldn't there be some compensation for your apology? The onlookers suddenly felt that their worldview had been refreshed. Shameless. She is too shameless. There was still such a brazen person who wanted more after others apologized. Wasn't her skin too thick? In Sulian gritted her teeth. What kind of compensation do you want? Spirit tools, spirit herbs, or spirit stones are fine. I'm not picky. I'm very easy to talk to. Yun Chujio said with a smile. The onlookers felt that Yun Chujio's narcissism had reached a new height. How could she be easy to talk to like this? How could you say that without feeling guilty? In Sulian and In Shueching were almost tortured to death by you. Yin Sulian gritted her teeth. 100 high-grade spirit stones. Yun Chujio curled her lips. Do I look like a beggar? 10,000 high-grade spirit stones. If you don't agree, then it'll become 50,000. If you still don't agree, then 100,000 should suffice. Yin Xueqing cursed angrily. Yun Chujio, don't be so shameless. Everyone, don't be fooled by her. What can she do? She's lying to you. She doesn't have any good ideas. 50,000. Yun Chujio said faintly. Yin Xueqing cursed angrily. Yun Chujio, are you out of your mind? I won't give you a single spirit stone. 100,000. You forced the two of them to swear in their hearts that they owe me 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. If I don't pay them back within 3 months, they will be struck by lightning and will die horrible deaths. Yun Chujio very naturally instructed the examinees beside her. Those examinees usually could not stand Yin Zucheng's pig-headed manner of shouting. When they heard Yun Chujio's words, they immediately began to beat and kick him. They used their knives to force Yin Sulian and Yin Xueqing to write an IOU for 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. Yin Sulian's eyes were filled with venom. Yun Chujio, keep showing off. If you can't come up with a solution later, these people will tear you apart alive. Even if you find one, I won't ever forgive you. Chapter 1005. Flowers bloom with a single thought. Yun Chujio had made a small fortune. When she saw that Yin Xueqing and Yin Xueqing had kneeled, her mood improved. Yun Chujio, we have already forced them to apologize according to what you said. Quickly tell us, what is the situation now? Everyone's gaze was fixed on Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio smiled slightly. Actually, we haven't left the Tianyuan Academy at all. We haven't spent 2 months out there either. All of this is just an illusion. We have been tricked. Before the crowd could speak, Yin Sulian sneered. Yun Chujio, you were a fraud in the Azure Mystic Continent, right? An illusion? That's hilarious. We're not idiots. You think we can't tell the difference between reality and illusion? That's right. I just said that she was lying to you. You didn't believe me, but now you believe me, right? She's simply spouting nonsense. Everything felt so real. How could it be an illusion? Added Yin Xueqing. You stupid girl, how dare you threaten me? I will not forgive you. Some people heard the Yin siblings' words and felt a little suspicious. Yun Chujio's words were too unbelievable. An illusion? How could this be an illusion? Everything that happened here felt extremely real. Moreover, how could it be that so many people had fallen into the same illusion? Some people looked at Yun Chujio with unkind eyes. Could it be that they had been played by Yun Chujio? Not only did they not find a way out, but they also offended the Yin siblings. It was detestable. Yun Chujio glanced at those people. They were the fence-sitters. Although the onlookers were easy to fool, they changed their stances too easily. These sort of people who were only told what to think were unreliable. Haven't you heard of a flower blooming with one thought and a flower falling with one thought? Everything in the world is like a flower blooming and falling. From the beginning to the end, the process is different, but the result is the same. If you nurture it, it will bloom and bear fruit. If you don't, it will wither and wither. Alright, what I said is too profound. You might not understand. In short, you have all fallen into an illusion. If you want to leave this place, there is only one way. That is to calm down and meditate. Follow the tranquility in your heart, and you will see what is really in front of you. Yun Chujio said mysteriously. Everyone was stunned by her words. It seemed to make sense, but was it effective? Fuck. Anyway, there's no other way now. This is our last resort. Someone said and began to meditate. When someone took the lead, more and more followed. No one wanted to be trapped here forever, so they began to meditate. Even Yin Sulian and Yin Xueqing gritted their teeth and followed the crowd. Feng Ming and the other two looked at Yun Chujio. From their experience, junior sister little Jio was possibly just bluffing. What bullshit was that, a flower blooming with one thought? Junior sister little Jio must have discovered something. Yun Chujio winked at the three of them, and they sat down to meditate. Yun Chujio stood up and her voice became ethereal. Color is emptiness. Emptiness is color. No eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, body, desires, color, sounds, fragrance, touch. Everyone who was meditating calmed down as well. Yun Chujio pursed her lips. Illusion formation? Tsk. She was afraid of all kinds of formations, but she was not afraid of an illusion formation. In her previous life, she had often been trained to resist hypnotism, and her spiritual sense was extremely strong. Illusion formations could not trap her at all. However, to not be too conspicuous, she pretended to accompany these people for a long time. Although she was bored, it was still not too bad since she was to be able to obtain 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. Chapter 1006. Illusion Break. Yun Chujio walked to the array board and removed the spirit stones from the array board. Then she put them into her storage ring. As soon as the spirit stones were taken away, the entire illusion broke. The scene in front of them changed. Sure enough, everyone was sitting in the small square. There were a group of teachers surrounding them with frozen smiles on their faces. They were all dumbfounded. Originally, when they saw these rookies struggling, they were just mocking them as a topic of discussion. Who would have thought that their expressions would suddenly become calm and peaceful? It was really strange. What made them the strangest was that Yun Chujio actually stood up. How was this possible? Was she not already affected by the illusion? How could she stand up? What made them the most confused was that the little girl actually walked straight to the array core and shamelessly took out the top-grade spirit stones from the array disk and put them into her pocket. Those were top-grade spirit stones. You fucking greedy demon. Yun Chujio smiled at them and then shouted at the examinees, "Flowers bloom with one thought, flowers fall with one thought. Wake up, young people." The crowd was looking for the calm and peaceful state that Yun Chujio had described. When they suddenly heard a shout, they were startled awake. Then, they were pleasantly surprised to find that the scene in their eyes had changed. They were in the small square where they exited the second round of the test. This meant that they had not used any flying spirit tools at all, nor did the so-called teacher Ouyang waste their time flying blindly. All of it was an illusion. Everyone immediately cheered, "We're out. We've broken the illusion. We've passed the test." I thought I was dead for sure. I didn't expect that I would pass the test. Yun Chujio, this is all thanks to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio, you're amazing. We originally thought that you were spouting nonsense, but we didn't expect that the method you said would actually work. A flower blooms with a single thought, and a flower falls with a single thought. How philosophical. Yun Chujio, you're too talented. Feng Ming and the other two listened to everyone's praise for Yun Chujio, and their hearts were filled with different emotions. Junior sister Little Jio was a monster. She changed everyone's impression of her within a short time. So what if she was at the first level of the spirit sect? Junior sister Little Jio knew the trick to getting first place in the test, and could still receive everyone's praise at the same time. Yun Chujio's heart was filled with joy, but she was used to putting on airs. She smiled faintly and said, "Fellow students, you are overpraising us. The reason why we succeeded was because we worked together. If it wasn't for your trust in me, how could we have succeeded?" When everyone heard Yun Chujio's words, they felt a strange warmth in their hearts. This Yun Chujio was not proud of her achievements, and she even shared the credit equally with everyone. She was not so bad after all. The surrounding teachers could only stare in bewilderment. Then, one of the older teachers coughed dryly. Cough, cough. Silence. Silence. When everyone saw the speaker's face clearly, they were instantly enraged. Fuck, wasn't that teacher Ouyang? Although they knew that it was an illusion, they still felt very annoyed with teacher Ouyang. They always felt that there was nothing good about his appearance. The third round of the test was supposed to filter out the first 1,000 examinees who escaped the illusion and obtain the qualification to enter the school. However, I didn't expect that all 2,000 of you would actually pass. Therefore, we have to add an additional round to the entrance test. The fourth round of the test will be held in 3 days. Chapter 1007. added to the Huang class, everyone looked at the teacher fiercely. As expected, he was up to no good ever since he appeared. However, no one had any objections. There had been such a precedent in the past. If the examinees who passed the first 3 rounds could not be selected, there would be an additional round. Everyone left the square one after another. When Yun Chujio was about to leave, she was stopped by the elderly teacher. "Little girl, how did you find the core of the formation?" Yun Chujio originally thought that he wanted the top-grade spirit stones back, but when she heard him ask about something else, she felt relieved. She blinked her eyes. "I just felt that there was something strange there. I used my hand to randomly pull a few times, and then I touched the spirit stone. I am the most greedy person. When I saw the spirit stone, I thought that there was no reason for me not to take it, so I took it." The teacher never dreamed that it would be for that reason, but he was still a little skeptical. He sized up Yun Chujio and saw that the little girl in front of him was calm and had no expressions of guilt. The teacher could only wave his hand at Yun Chujio, indicating that she could leave. The teacher looked at Yun Chujio skipping away and said, "Why do I always feel that this little girl is not as she seems?" "Old Xiao, aren't you talking nonsense? If she was just a simple girl, could she have gotten first place in both tests? Moreover, we were slapped in the face by this little girl in the 3rd round of the test. I heard that this Yun Chujio ascended from the Azure Mystic Continent. She is not even 18 years old yet, but she cultivated her spiritual power to ascend in the Azure Mystic Continent, where the spiritual energy is poor. She is definitely not just a simple girl. You guys still don't know, right? She has the Heavenly Thunder Root Spirit. The Heavenly Thunder Root Spirit is not tolerated by Tiandao, but she is still alive and kicking. There must be something unusual about this little girl. It is also possible that because it was the Azure Mystic Continents, the Tiandao did not delve too deeply into it. Now that she has arrived at the Tianyuan continent, it might not be a good thing. Maybe when she breaks through, she will be killed by the Tiandao." The teachers animatedly discussed among each other. The elderly teacher finally said, "This little girl is too sharp. If she can pass the 4th round of the test, I think it's more appropriate to assign her to the Huang class. It's just the right move to sharpen her spirit. This will help her resist Tiandao's wrath in the future." "Old Xiao, what you said makes sense, but why do I feel that you are using others to seek personal revenge? It can't be that because she broke your illusion array, that's why you suggested it," a fat old man said with a smile. "Old man Jiang, do you think I'm a petty person like you? I'm cherishing talent. For a little girl at the first layer of the spirit sect to obtain such results, either her luck was heaven-defying, or her wit was extraordinary. No matter which one it was, this little girl's future is limitless. How could I take revenge on her? Moreover, this year's examinee's aptitude is indeed not as good as the previous years. Dean Huangfu decided to add a Huang class this year," the old man surnamed Xiao said unhappily. "You old thing, I was just joking. Did you take it seriously? However, if that little girl was assigned to Huang class, she wouldn't give up herself, right? After all, she obtained first place in 2 tests, and she might feel complacent. If she can't even accept this little ordeal, then it would be hard for her to become a great person," the old man surnamed Xiao said in a deep voice. Yun Chujio did not even know that she had been dragged to the worst class before she had even entered the school. At that moment, she basked in the praise and gratitude of those she had helped escape. Yun Chujio was surrounded by those examinees who thanked her. She had walked towards the Long Wind Inn when she was blocked by someone. Chapter 1008. Senior Sister will protect you. A good dog doesn't know how to behave. Get lost. However, if you are here to return the money, I don't mind being delayed for a while. Yun Chujio looked at the Yin siblings in front of her and curled her lips. Yun Chujio. Just you wait, our Yin family will not forgive you. Yin Sulian said fiercely. She had already sent a letter to the head of the Yin family, asking her father to think of a way to kill Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio smiled faintly. Whether you forgive me or not, we will discuss that another time. Quickly give me the 200,000 high-grade spirit stones that you owe me, or else you will be struck by lightning. Or is it that your Een family is just putting up a false front and you can't even afford 200,000 high-grade spirit stones? You are extorting us, Een Sullian said with bloodshot eyes. Blackmail? Cut the crap. Who asked you to be unable to control your own mouth? Did I ask you to find fault with me? Did I ask you to call me a country bumpkin? Did I ask you to call me a goebatsao? Are you blaming me for your own bad mouth? Yun Chujio shrugged her shoulders and said helplessly. When Een Sullian wanted to say more, a cold voice came from the side. Yun Chujio, here are 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. Keep it well. My sister and my cousin are just fooling around. Now that we're even, I hope you can let them off in the future. Yun Chujio turned her head and saw that the person who spoke was Een Shinlian. Her small mouth made her look like she was extremely evil. It was confusing. No wonder she was considered one of the so-called 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy. Miss Een, you seem to have misunderstood. If you don't know what happened, there are a lot of people here. You can ask around before you accuse me of anything. This doesn't seem to be in line with your usual sensible style. Yun Chujio said coldly. You. Een Shinlian had always been popular since she was young. Even though Qin Mingzhu and Bailey Yen had stolen the limelight in Tianyuan Academy, the 3 of them had not fallen out with each other on the surface. It was the first time that she had been ridiculed in public. What about me? Don't you feel embarrassed when you bully your juniors and the weak like this? You are one of the 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy. How can you be an example to us? You've allowed your family to bully others and then slander the victim. You've disappointed me. Originally, I wanted to look up to you as an example. Now, it seems that I better choose senior sister Qin and senior sister Bai Li as role models. Clap, clap, clap. Clapping sounds were heard from the side. Qin Mingzhu and Bai Li Shuang walked over. Bai Li Shuang clapped as she said, You little girl, have good taste. If you manage to enter Tianyuan Academy, senior sister will take care of you. Yun Chujio said with a smile, Then thank you, senior sister Bai Li. I have offended senior sister Een and her family before I entered the academy. I am very scared. The corners of Feng Ming and the other 2's eyes twitched violently. Scared? Junior sister little Jio, you are the one who is lying through your teeth. You are scared? I think you only want to plunge the world into chaos. Yun Chujio had never been a person who would submit to whatever was coming her way. She thought that since she had already offended Een Sullian and Een Xueqing, she might as well just break all ties with them. After all, they did not openly dare to do anything to her in the Tianyuan Academy. Moreover, she had even offended the biggest power in the sky, Tian Dao, so why would she be afraid of a little Een family? When Een Shinlian saw Yun Chujio and Bailey Yen chime in, her face turned red with anger. Then she saw Qin Mingzhu's mocking expression. She gritted her teeth and said, Bailey Yen, do you think this Yun Chujio is a good person? Let me tell you, the relationship between her and His Excellency is not as simple as it seems. You better be wary you don't invite a wolf into your house. Chapter 1009. The 4th round of the test de-biming was both Bailey Yen and Qin Mingzhu's weakness. When the 2 of them heard Een Xinlian's words, they immediately looked at Yun Chujio with unkind eyes. Yun Chujio, what is your relationship with His Excellency? Bailey Yen stared at Yun Chujio. Me and His Excellency? Isn't he the palace mistress' son? What kind of relationship could we possibly have? Yun Chujio looked at Bailey Yen with a confused expression. Junior Yun, I'm just asking casually. Don't worry, Senior will take care of you from now on. You just have to take part in the 4th round of the test properly. Bailey Yen saw that Yun Chujio's expression did not seem to be fake, and she thought to herself, could it be that this little girl still does not understand love? Since she has yet to be enlightened, I won't tease her anymore. If she pesters His Excellency, it would not be pretty. Yun Chujio nodded, and then asked curiously, Senior Bai Li, what did Senior Een mean when she said something about leading a wolf into the house and that I wasn't as I seemed? Bailey Yen sneered. Some people have their own ulterior motives, so they think that others are like her. Don't take it to heart. As long as you enter Tianyuan Academy, they won't dare to do anything to you. Yes, I'll listen to Senior Bai Li. Then I'll leave first. See you later. Yun Chujio said obediently. In Xinlian looked at Yun Chujia's back and said coldly, Bai Li Yen, you'll regret it. This little girl is not as simple as she looks. Not simple? She's a little girl from the Azure Mystic Continent. What could be not simple? In Xinlian, you'd reign in your Yin family. Each one of them is so stupid, it's embarrassing. Bai Li Yen said mockingly. You don't have to worry about the Yin family's matters. Let's go. In Xinlian glared at In Sulian and In Xueqing, then left with the two of them. Bai Li Yen and Qin Mingzhu glanced at each other, then the two of them also turned around and left. Seeing that the show was over, the onlookers also dispersed. 3 days later, the fourth round of the Tianyuan Academy's entrance examination began. This round of the test is still a team-based evaluation. All of you will be transported to a field where there are 250 jade tokens inside. The group that obtains the jade tokens will be qualified to enter the academy. The rest of you will be disqualified and will be allowed to compete with each other for the remaining spots. The test will end after 10 hours. We will begin now, said the instructor in charge of the test. A white light flashed in front of everyone's eyes. When they opened their eyes, they had already entered a sealed test field. Everyone could not wait to start their search for the jade tokens. Yun Chujio still behaved as leisurely as before. She poked her head forward to take a look and then simply sat on the spot. She did not have any intention of going around to look for it. Junior sister little Gio, aren't we going to do anything? If we start too late, I'm afraid that the jade tokens will be gone. Feng Ming asked in puzzlement. Senior brother Feng Ming, do you think we can keep the jade tokens even if we can find them? Once we get our hands on the jade tokens, we will become targets. We are just looking for trouble. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and said, Junior sister little Gio, although what you said makes sense, we can't just give up like this, can we? Shi Xian frowned and said, in any case, it's only 10 hours. There's no rush. Let them fight among themselves for a while. We will pick up the scraps when the time comes, Yun Chujio said slyly. Although Feng Ming and the other two did not know how Yun Chujio intended to accomplish that, they already had some confidence in Yun Chujio. Therefore, they accompanied Yun Chujio to meditate and rest. Chapter 1010. Forming an alliance. At this moment, some examinees had already discovered jade tokens. However, there were 8 iron golems who guarded the jade token. These iron golems were exquisitely made. Although they did not know how to use spiritual energy attacks, however, blades and swords could not harm them in the slightest. Wind blades and fireballs were also ineffective. More than a dozen examinees were stopped in their tracks by the 8 iron golems. Most of the others had also found jade tokens in various locations, but they were also surrounded by 8 iron golems. Although the tokens just hung there waiting to be collected, nobody could not get past the iron golems. Time passed quickly. These people did not get a single jade token. Some of the smarter examinees remembered the situation with the illusion and had an idea. They looked around looking for Yun Chujio's figure. After searching for a long time, they finally found Yun Chujio and the other 3 at the entrance. They saw Yun Chujio and the other 3 playing cards. Yun Chujio, why aren't you going to try and find the jade tokens? A tall and thin man asked. Our spiritual power is too weak. We can't compete with you guys at all. So I give up. You guys go ahead. Yun Chujio looked like she had given up. The man rolled his eyes. Yun Chujio, how about we form an alliance? If we ally with a few groups, no one can do anything to us. We can swear on our inner demons that we will never betray you. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. Are you guys in trouble? The lanky man smiled awkwardly. To tell you the truth, the tokens are guarded by iron golems. Although those jade tokens are right in front of us, we have no way to get past those guards. You are resourceful, so we want to ally with you to help us get those jade tokens. Yun Chujio nodded. I see. Thank you for thinking highly of me. However, if none of you have a way, what can I possibly do? Yun Chujio, we believe in you. You must have a way to get around the golems. The people who wanted to form an alliance were also desperate. Their spiritual power was not outstanding, and only by forming an alliance could they have a chance of winning. Moreover, they felt that if Yun Chujio could break through the illusion, perhaps she could also deal with this refined iron puppet. Yun Chujio thought for a moment and then said slowly, "All right, after we play finish round, I'll go with you to take a look." The tall and thin man was about to cry. "Auntie, do you realize the situation we are in? You still want to play cards? Just how carefree are you?" "Yun Chujio, Great Aunt Yun, Ancestor Yun, this card game can be played at any time. Our prescribed time is almost up. Let's go over first. If we can pass the test, we will take turns playing with you in the future. Don't play now." Yun Chujio then stood up and clapped her hands. "All right, I'll go with you guys to take a look." Sigh, as expected, a tall tree only attracts the wind. I originally wanted to keep a low profile, but now it seems that I am too outstanding. Even if I want to hide it, I can't. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched. Feng Ming and the other two fared better. They were already numb to her behavior. When had the 20 people ever seen such a thick-skinned person? They suddenly felt that perhaps they were thinking too much. Did she get lucky earlier when she broke the illusion? Yun Chujio was surrounded by everyone as she walked forward. Some examinees with low spiritual power saw this and thought to themselves, since they cannot compete with others in terms of spiritual power anyway, they might as well try their best. If they followed Yun Chujio, they might be able to pass the final round of tests. Therefore, when Yun Chujio arrived at the place where the jade token was located, there were already nearly 200 people gathered behind her, and they also took the initiative to request an alliance with Yun Chujio's group. Yun Chujio did not reject anyone who came forward. As long as they swore to each other in their hearts that they would not betray each other, they would be taken in. Chapter 10-11. They can't do anything to us. In Sulian looked coldly at Yun Chujio being surrounded by all those people and sneered in her heart. It was like the saying birds of a feather flock together. These trash that supported Yun Chujio's rotten feet all had low spiritual power. They were just rabble. Did they really think that Yun Chujio was that powerful? If they could not even subdue those iron golems, what makes them think she could? In her dreams, Yun Chujio did not immediately make a move. Instead, she stood at the side and watched some people fight those iron golems. Although those examinees' spiritual power attacks were very fierce, they were unable to cause any fatal damage to those iron golems. Many examinees were so tired that they were panted heavily. They sat at the side dejectedly. They had no chance of winning against those iron golems. However, some examinees discovered something about the golems. As time passed, those iron golems slowed down a little. These iron golems probably relied on spirit stones to sustain themselves. The longer they fought, the faster the spirit stones were used up. When those examinees discovered this weakness, they immediately cheered up. Let's continue attacking. Once these iron golems run out of spirit stones, we can get past them and grab the jade token. Many examinees once again began to fight with the golems. Finally, the spirit stones of the golems were completely drained. They stopped moving and the jade token was snatched by a group. Before the group could rejoice, they were surrounded by dozens of people who were so anxious that their eyes turned red. A chaotic battle began. Yun Chujio looked in that direction, then she said slowly, "See? If we get the jade token, that will happen. So, we have to think of a perfect plan. Not only do we have to get the jade token, but we also have to keep it from being taken by others. Yun Chujio, there are more than 200 people with you. Or should we be afraid of them?" "That's right. Although our spiritual power is weaker than theirs, we have more people. They are scattered. They can't do anything to us." Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and said, "I have a way to protect our jade tokens from being taken away by others." "What way?" Everyone looked at Yun Chujio. "Pass the jade tokens with me. Then you guys surround me. As long as we delay the others until the time is up, they won't be able to take away the jade tokens." Yun Chujio said with a smile. The corners of Feng Ming and the other two's eyes twitched. Junior sister Little Jio was definitely trying to slack off. With more than 200 people protecting her, even if these people's spiritual power was low, they would be fine. Although those people also felt that Yun Chujio was a bad asterisk, what she said was not without merit. If they protected her, as long as they persevered until the end of the test, they would all be able to pass. Everyone agreed to Yun Chujio's request one after another. Then, they realized that they had forgotten an important point, and that was, fuck, they hadn't gotten the jade tokens yet. What were they trying to protect? Wasn't this just daydreaming of success? Yun Chujio, we agree with your suggestion. But, shouldn't we get the jade tokens first? A tall and thin man said with a dumbfounded look. Of course. We have a total of 50 teams. We can get 50 jade tokens. It's a piece of cake. Yun Chujio said nonchalantly. Her tone made the jade tokens sound like they were just cabbages that she could take any time she wanted to. Those people also felt that Yun Chujio was boasting. Each jade token was guarded by 8 iron golems. Those iron golems were not easy to deal with. Because of the time limit, even if they concentrated their spiritual power to attack those iron golems, it was already good enough to be able to get 10 jade tokens, but the hope of getting 50 was too slim. Chapter 10-12. The mysterious Yun Chujio. Some of the teams had already managed to get some jade tokens. When they heard Yun Chujio's words, they could not help but mock. Some people really overestimated themselves. Aren't they afraid that they might bite off more than they could chew? 50 jade tokens? Do you think those iron golems are fools? Do you think they will let you take them? That's right. A motley crew of weaklings, and you still think you can pass the test? In 2 hours, the test will be over. Even if you are exhausted to death, you still won't be able to obtain 50 jade tokens. Some people don't know their place after being in the limelight once. They dare to agree to anything and they have to be responsible for their words. They believe anything that comes out of her mouth. This is the entrance test for Tianyuan Academy, not some kindergarten game. It concerns their future. Yun Chujio swept a glance at the people who spoke. Those people still followed her a few days ago and continuously thanked and praised her. She did not expect that their behavior had completely changed now. It was likely that the Een siblings had done something to them. These bystanders were really too easy to bribe. However, the Een siblings had bribed people with high spiritual power. They probably thought that the remaining people had no value, so they did not bother with them. When the examinees behind Yun Chujio heard the words of those people, their hearts became even more uncertain. However, they had no way out now, so they could only place their bets on Yun Chujio. Junior sister little Jio, what should we do? Feng Ming felt that the matter was getting complicated. Unless those puppets ran out of spirit stones, there was no way to subdue them. If they could not subdue them, then they could not get to the jade token. Yun Chujio smiled slyly. No matter how powerful these puppets are, they don't have brains. As long as we use a little trick, we can deceive these puppets. Although everyone felt that Yun Chujio's words made sense, however, they still raised their doubts. Yun Chujio, although what you said makes sense, these puppets fiercely protect the jade tokens. As long as someone gets close to them, they will attack. We have no way of getting to the jade tokens. Yun Chujio's eyes rolled. When she was watching others fighting with the iron golems, she took out a few pebbles from her storage ring and secretly flicked them towards the 8 golems. The 8 iron golems did not move toward her. What did this mean? She did not use her spiritual power when she threw the pebbles. The iron golems could only sense spiritual power fluctuations. As long as she did not use her spiritual power, she could easily get to the jade token. However, this secret could not be revealed, otherwise, there would be no chance for her to win. Yun Chujio secretly took off the hidden spirit ring on her hand. Then she began her act and walked in front of the 8 iron golems. She smiled and said, "Everyone, we have no grudges against each other. Please do me a favor. When I get the jade token, I will thank all of you." After Yun Chujio finished speaking, she tilted her ears and listened. Then, she nodded her head as if she was taking it seriously. Since everyone has agreed, then I'll help myself. In Suyen and the others pursed their lips. This Yun Chujio was most likely crazy. These iron golems did not have any weapon spirits at all. No matter how much you said, It would be like casting pearls before swine. It would be strange if they could understand you. However, to their horror, they discovered that Yun Chujio had actually gotten close to the 8 iron golems. The strange thing was that the 8 iron golems did not attack Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio leisurely entered the encirclement. After taking the jade plate on the stone platform, she slowly walked out and solemnly bowed to the 8 iron golems. Thank you, everyone. May you cultivate toward the great Tao. Chapter 10:13. Am I a money grubber? The onlookers felt as if they were dreaming. Yun Chujio managed to fool the 8 iron golems with just a few good words? How was that possible? Yun Chujio walked to the side of the 8 iron golems and said the same words. Then she walked in leisurely and came out with a jade token in her hand. Throughout the whole time, the iron golems did not move at all. Yun Chujio did the same thing at the other locations and quickly obtained more than a dozen jade tokens. The others could not hold it in any longer and also imitated Yun Chujio's words to the iron golems. Then they walked in and did not get too close, yet the iron golems moved and beat up those people. Those people wanted to cry but had no tears. Damn it, could it be that these iron golems only recognized beautiful women? At that moment, Yun Chujio had already easily obtained a large number of jade tokens. When Yin Sulien and the others saw that Yun Chujio had obtained the jade tokens so easily, they were so depressed that they wanted to dash their heads against the wall. Especially those who had yet to manage to obtain a jade token, their intestines almost turned green with regret. If they had known earlier, they would have followed Yun Chujio. Although they wanted to grab the large number of jade tokens in Yun Chujio's hands, Yun Chujio was surrounded by 200 people. She looked at them with a smile, as if they could not do anything to her. Although everyone was gritting their teeth in anger, there was only a limited amount of time left. It was impossible for them to break through the encirclement of these people and snatch the jade tokens. If they had the time, they might as well try their luck with the iron golems. However, they were very uncertain in their hearts. There was no way for them to exhaust the spirit stones of the iron golems within an hour. Could it be that they had no way to enter the Tianyuan Academy? At this moment, a melodious voice rang out. Hey, do you guys want the jade tokens? Everyone looked at Yun Chujio, who was speaking, and hope rose in their hearts. Yun Chujio and the others only needed 50 jade tokens, but she had more than 100 of them in her hands now. Those extra jade tokens were useless to her. Did that mean that she would give them the unwanted tokens? As she thought of the third round of the test, Yun Chujio was the most greedy person. She shouted, I, Yun Chujio, will sell you one of the surplus jade tokens for 10,000 high-grade spirit stones. 20,000. They'll give you 20,000. Sell it to me. 30,000. 50,000. 100,000. Everyone knew that this was their only chance to enter the Tianyuan Academy. They would risk everything to buy a jade token. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes, and her heart was already bursting with joy. This was a great opportunity to make a fortune. Although she was eager to sell the jade tokens in her hands, on the surface, she appeared to be in a difficult position. Everyone, although the extra jade tokens are indeed useless, with so many of you here, the jade tokens are limited. Who should I sell them to? Yun Chujio, this is a business negotiation. Naturally, the one with the highest bid will get it. I'll offer 150,000 spirit stones. A fatty shouted. I'll offer 160,000. 180,000. 200,000. The crowd once again raised the bidding price, as if they had gone crazy. Yun Chujio sighed faintly. Everyone humans love money. Am I that kind of person who loves money? What do you mean by buying and selling the tokens? How hurtful. I'll give you the jade tokens for free. What was that? Everyone could not believe their ears. There was such a good thing? Moreover, this Yun Chujio was very greedy. Would she give up such a good opportunity to earn money? Chapter 10:14. There must be a problem with the display screen. Just as everyone stared in disbelief, they heard Yun Chujio continue. However, I know that all of you are people who care about face. You must be feeling uneasy after taking the jade token that I worked so hard to obtain. How about this? You just have to be willing to give me some money for my hard work. 200,000 is too much, and many people can't afford it. How about this? Just give me 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. You guys can draw lots to decide who gets the jade token. They'll give it to whoever gets it. Whether or not you can get the jade token will depend on your luck. When the crowd heard this, although they felt like they were just spewing nonsense, they still said the words, "Junior Yun is really generous. This method is fair, let's do it." Yun Chujio got someone to make a ball of paper for drawing lots. Then she put it into a box and asked the crowd to draw lots. The person who drew the winning lot was so excited that he was dancing with joy, while the person who did not could only complain about his bad luck. Yun Chujio had money in one hand and goods in the other. She also received several million high-grade spirit stones. She was so happy in her heart. These people needed to grow some brains. It was an easy way to get so many spirit stones in such a short time. Everyone, these spirit stones are all thanks to you. I, Yun Chujio, am not a person who eats alone. After we leave, I will transfer 10,000 high-grade spirit stones to each of you. Although Yun Chujio felt her heart ache, to live a good life in the Tianyuan Academy in the future, she had to make some sacrifices. Those people simply felt that they had received a windfall from the heavens. 10,000 high-grade spirit stones was no a small amount. It was enough to pay off a year's worth of tuition fees. It was truly a small fortune. Not to mention 10,000, even 1,000 high-grade spirit stones were considered a lot. They did not expect Yun Chujio to be so generous. Many people had developed a vague idea in their hearts. If they could follow Yun Chujio, there would be benefits. If there was still a chance in the future, should they still follow Yun Chujio? She had the confidence, and there was still money to be made. Was it not a great deal? Yun Chujio saw the change in everyone's eyes. She had recovered from the trauma of giving up 2 million high-grade spirit stones in one go. Those who wanted to achieve great things had to be willing to make sacrifices. These 2 million high-grade spirit stones were worth it. At that moment, in the small square outside, the instructors were all looking at the display screen with dumbfounded expressions. The group that had obtained a jade token would have a jade token icon appear in front of their group name. In the beginning, there were a few groups that had a jade token in front of their names. Everyone was still sighing. This year's batch of examinees' qualifications were truly a little inferior compared to the previous batches. It had been so long, and only a few dozen groups had managed to obtain the jade token. It was estimated that this round of recruitment round would be another round of additional examinations. Just as they were animatedly discussing what to do, they were stunned to discover that the jade token icons had started to appear non-stop in front of group 250, one after another. In the end, the number 250 was squeezed into the third row. The first thought in everyone's mind was, the display screen has gone crazy. What's going on? What's wrong with group 250? How did they get so many jade tokens? This is impossible. There must be a problem with the display screen. Yeah, no matter how powerful they are, they can't defeat so many iron golems at once. Not to mention them, even with our cultivation level, we can't get so many jade tokens. Instructor Xiao raised his eyebrows. The display screen couldn't be faulty. They must have really managed to get so many jade tokens. This group 250 was always doing the unexpected. How did they do it? Look, there are fewer jade tokens now. There must be a problem with the display screen. Chapter 10-15. A kind-hearted girl like Junior Yun. The instructors discovered that, as expected, the number of jade tokens in front of group 250 was rapidly decreasing. Correspondingly, jade tokens began to appear in front of other groups. Not bad. I guess the statistics were wrong just now. Now it's back to normal. Everyone interpreted it in this way. Only Instructor Xiao and the others felt that things were not that simple. Fortunately, the test was about to end. When the time came, they could just ask the examinees. Not long after, the examinees were sent out. Some were happy, while others were worried. Yin Sulian shouted, "Instructors, I want to make a report. Yun Chujio is inside buying and selling jade tokens. She should be disqualified." Those who bought the jade tokens wanted to strangle In Sulien to death. If Yun Chujio was punished, wouldn't we also be implicated? Instructor, In Sulien is slandering us. We didn't spend any spirit stones to buy them. We only gave Yun Chujio spirit stones to express our gratitude. We gave them to Yun Chujio voluntarily. It's not a business deal like she said. That's right. How could such a kind girl like Junior Sister Yun do something like buying and selling jade tokens? In Sulien is slandering Junior Sister Yun because of her grudge against Junior Sister Yun. This is too much. That's right, Junior Sister Yun is willing to help others and helped us obtain the jade tokens. How could it be a business relationship? In Sulien, keep your thoughts to yourself. You can't slander Junior Yun like this. The 200 people who had followed Yun Chujio from the beginning also shouted indignantly, "That's right. We can also testify that there was no business at all. It's all In Sulien slander." These people thought to themselves, they had accepted 10,000 high-grade spirit stones from Yun Chujio. If Yun Chujio was punished, they would not be able to escape. Moreover, their 10,000 spirit stones would also be confiscated. Damn In Sulien, how hateful. In Sulien never thought that she would once again become the target of public criticism. She turned her gaze to those examinees who did not receive the jade token. Why aren't you saying anything? You did not get the lot, don't you feel cheated? The examinees looked at each other. Damn it, they were not stupid. Even if they admitted it, they would not gain anything. They might even be disqualified from next year's test. Since that was the case, why should they meddle? In Sulien was so angry that her face turned red. She looked at the examinees who got the jade tokens with her own ability and said, Are you all mute? Tell me, am I telling the truth? Those examinees looked at each other. It was better to avoid unnecessary trouble. In any case, they had already obtained the qualifications to be admitted, so there was no need to stir up trouble. Moreover, that Yun Chujio had also said at that time, she was not selling the jade token, but it was the hard work paid by those people voluntarily, so no one said anything. Instructor Xiao frowned. In Sulien, since there is no evidence, let's drop this matter. The examinees who have obtained the jade token have already been officially admitted by the Tianyuan Academy. They will officially be enrolled in 3 days. Everyone can leave now. In Sulien still wanted to say something, but Instructor Xiao did not give her a chance to speak. He directly sent someone to lead the examinees out. Shopkeeper Chi was waiting in the large square outside. At that moment, the screen had already displayed the list of the people who had been accepted this time. Yun Chujio and the other 3 were shockingly on the list. He was finally relieved. Shopkeeper Chi recalled that he had thought that the 4 of them enrolling were just wishful thinking. He did not expect them to really qualify to enter the Tianyuan Academy. Just as Shopkeeper Chi was thinking about it, he saw Yun Chujio being surrounded by the crowd like a victorious queen. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.